Hey everyone. Okay, we are back again for another live stream here in the Women into Networking Win community. I just want to thank you guys for joining us because I have Miss Pam Fields here again. She is going to be sharing with us her transparencies in breast health and awareness. I want her to, first of all, just introduce herself, right? That's really important because we do get to know the women behind the story. And also, we're going to dig deeper actually into what she's already shared from before, which was she gave us some resources for anyone who is going through a situation where maybe you are experiencing breast health issues and you need some additional resources. She's also shared her story before in a very bold and brave way. So we're going to reintroduce Ms. Pam Fields back to the community. And we also want to bring some more information for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I think this is what we're talking about here, where you guys get to actually dig deeper into real stories. We know that we share and we donate and we support, but this is about a real story and how we are transitioning through the days and through the times of what our experiences are. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Miss Pam Fields. This is your show, ma'am. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Oh, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. Once again, I am Pam Fields. I am a 57-year-old woman who got breast cancer about 3.5 years ago. I did not, other than one cousin, same age that I did at that point, um, that was our only connection to breast cancer at all. So it was a complete surprise. Um, I had invasive ductal carcinoma. I was stage 2, grade 3. And if you all, hopefully you haven't gotten diagnosed, but if you have, you will know that there is a difference between the stage and the grade, because when you look in the portal, I didn't know what I was looking at and I was trying to piece it all together. But the stage is how far along you are, and then the grade is how aggressive it is. And so stage 3 is pretty aggressive. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the most aggressive one. Um, I had 24 rounds of chemo, 12 with Taxol and carboplatin, and then 12 with what they call the Red Devil. And I had an allergic reaction to my immunotherapy. And I get hesitant about saying what the immunotherapy is because I was in one of those low percentages. So I don't want to discourage anybody from getting it. You will not know if you're allergic to it until you actually have it. But my skin started burning from the inside out, and then it started peeling in sheets. And so I had to go on steroids. Then I had a double mastectomy. I decided to stay flat. So I asked my surgeon to make me like a 12-year-old boy, and that's exactly what she did. So then we did 5 weeks of radiation. And so that was Monday through Friday, going for 5 weeks, and thought I was done. But because I didn't finish my immunotherapy and I had 15 lymph nodes taken out of my left arm, I guess it's the armpit, um, I had to do 8 cycles of oral chemo. So it was about 18 months of active treatment. But we're here and we're blessed and we're going to keep spreading the word. I want people to understand that it is a combination. If you have boobies, I need you to fill them up. That's just the bottom line. Um, Fill them up once a month, like you're paying, like you're paying your mortgage or your rent at the beginning of the month. And if you're of a certain age, or if you have a medical, chemo brain, sorry, if you've got a history of breast cancer running in your family, then advocate for yourself. That's a big thing, because some of the times the doctors and the insurances don't want you to even they don't even want to acknowledge that you're feeling something. So I need people to speak up. Hey, I'm feeling something and I need you to do something about it now. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm a mom of three, a grandma of a nana of four, and I enjoy, spreading the word about breast cancer and definitely about prevention for people. And so that's my mission that I got the day after, honestly, from God. The day after I got my diagnosis, God gave me my assignment. So I just try to share as much as I possibly can to make people aware.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was very transparent and open. We saw that in our past experiences with you, just talking about this journey that you've had. I know it's not easy, like it can't be, because you have to be the one to go through it. And I love that you are very transparent in sharing, right? Like I love when you say it tickles me. You're like, it's like a little boy, like they made you like a little boy. And I'm just like, that's super cute because you make a joke out of every scenario that possibly that could bring someone else down. And I think that's really important to include that humor, the understanding that, yeah, it happened to me, but it also happened for me. Like I now have a story to tell. I now have a business out of this where I can actually tell you guys how to, what to look out for. And yeah, check your breast. Like I personally, like I think it's so important for women because we are at the forefront of everyone's health. Not just our own, but our children, our partners, our parents, when they become older.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to emphasize how important that is. And I back you up, Pam, because I know that you definitely come through and supported W.I.N and our mission and making sure that women are very aware of like, listen, like seriously, if we want to really create legacy, that means that we're going to take care of ourselves and be proactive rather than reactive. Tell us a little bit more about how you
Absolutely.
help people do that now, because you said that God gave you a vision and you kind of like you started really leaning into that. What does that look like? Tell us about it.
Well, and I do use laughter for a lot of things, probably a coping mechanism a little bit, just to be honest. But my youngest daughter, when I was getting ready to go back to work, nobody knows what to say. So she got me a hoodie that said, "Yes, they're gone. They tried to kill me." So this has just been the entire time. My nurses, the doctors, they were like, "You have got to be the did I lose you? Sorry. Um, you've got to be the happiest cancer patient we've ever seen in our lives." But I think early on, I made a decision that I knew that it was going to be a long haul. I knew it was going to be a difficult road. I didn't know exactly how difficult, because you don't, when you don't know, you just don't know. And it doesn't matter how many people you might talk to or anything else, your journey is definitely your journey. That was the reason that I said about my immunotherapy, because I don't want people to scare away from any type of necessity as far as drugs are concerned. I just happened to be one of the 1% that was allergic to it, and that doesn't mean that you will be. And so I get a little hesitant about that, but I gave me my life assignment, and my life lessons, and he gave me my assignment. I got a tattoo of my life lessons. It's patience, awareness, strength, and surrender. And then my assignment was honestly to go and just make sure that people were aware, or to take care of themselves, because we do, like you said, we're parents, we're uh, uh, daughters, we care for everybody, and sometimes we get put on the back burner. And so I don't want anybody to have to be forced to the front burner just because they got some type of disease because they haven't taken care of themselves, right? Because stress is a big part of it. I'm sure, that we could go through a plethora of different things that causes breast cancer. Other than just hereditary. Uh-oh.
Um,
She might be
Pam, I
coming
don't
back.
know if it's me or if it's you, but it's going out on my end. So give me one moment. I want to make sure. Can you hear me, Pam? Uh-oh. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Are you there?
Can you hear me now? Mm, Pam, are you able to hear me?
Now I
Okay,
can.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yep.
can you?
I think some of the weather though too, that might have something
Yeah,
to
it's
do with it.
okay. And this is actually going to be posted on all of our social platforms as well as our WIN channels. So people will be able to see this ongoing, not just this month, but even leading through to the next year, because we do believe that this is an ongoing method, even though we're starting at this point to really bring that awareness. Um, I do
Yeah.
want to, and I did hear for the most part, where you were as far as just making sure you're bringing that awareness for people and just making sure you're following, through because this is conviction. It sounds like this is conviction for you. Like you going through something, you're now like able to spread the word, spread the gospel.
Absolutely. I mean that, like I said, I am so, if I meet you and you got some boobies, I'm gonna tell you it doesn't matter where I'm at. I've stood up in the oncologist's office and, talking about copays.org. I've done it all. So I, at this point, have no shame in my game. I am definitely here to spread the word. Um, I've made digital products, so therefore I can, help people be able to go through the process because it's hard. Sometimes you're out there and you definitely feel like you're by yourself. I know that when I first got diagnosed, I mentioned my cousin, but she had a lumpectomy. And so that in itself is totally different. She got to keep her breast, they just took out the mass. I had to remove my breast. And so, it's just so many different facets to this. And so, if you can resonate with someone that at least has some of the things, some of the information that you have, and sometimes you just feel like you're putting up, pieces to a puzzle, and it is what it is. But some information is better than no information at all. But I have learned that it is so much easier when you feel like somebody, whether they're through the screen or whatever, that has an inkling of what you're going through. I always kind of associate it with my mother dying, right? It's one of those sororities you don't want to be you don't want to be in. So I can't talk to my friend over here. She can still pick up the phone and talk to her. Right? So it's a little bit different. It's cancer now.
Listen, I'm over here. I'm over here. You know the airport is over here. Can you hear me now? Just let me know if you can hear me. I'm gonna keep talking until you can. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. I'll keep talking until you can hear me. I'll keep going until you can hear me. Can you hear me, Pam?
I can hear you. I don't see you yet, but I can't hear you. Yes.
Uh, okay,
Can
so
you hear
sorry,
me?
guys. Yeah, I can. I don't know why this does this, but every time I'm in this area, we're right by the airport, and I believe it's the planes. That's just my theory. It really does get really iffy. So excuse the delays. But Pam, I know that you were definitely like leaning into something good, and I had to cut out because it was like I could not hear anything you were saying. So but I will move on because I do want to get to some other questions that I think are really really important for the audience to hear. Okay. um and I think mainly what I want to start off with is because you were expressing how important it is for you to spread this message. So, say you have a young girl who does not know how to advocate for herself, right? Because, a lot of times we go to the doctors and we may feel like, yeah, I'm not feeling that great, or maybe I feel a lump, maybe I don't, what are some of the fears that come up when people start to think that maybe this is a possibility, and what can they do to overcome those fears? Are you hold on. Let me make sure you're not muted, Pam. Mm, see if I can unmute you. There you go. Okay, we may be frozen. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we got frozen. I'm not sure if Pam was able to hear me or understand what I was saying. But basically, this is part of our Healthy Horizons project for anyone who's like, what are we doing today? We're basically giving you guys behind the scenes real life experiences of women who are out here experiencing things like breast cancer, breast health issues, anything that really contributes to some of the awareness campaigns that we have out here. And Healthy Horizons is a project that we created to make sure that it didn't just include breast cancer, it includes a lot of areas of health, of stability, of just making sure you're taking care of your overall pie, your overall self. So Miss Pam Fields today is just really giving us more of an in-depth opportunity to get to know more about the story that she's already told. And now she's giving us continuation of how that journey looks for her. Go ahead, Pam. I saw you were cut out for a little bit, but let's continue where we left off at.
Yeah, so what I have observed just from speaking to young women, and especially young women under 40, there is a false sense of putting all of your stakes into what your doctor says, right? So if your doctor says, "Oh, don't worry about it," but the only person that has to live with this decision is you. That's the end result. And I've seen so many young ladies, especially on social media, they'll come and they'll say, I felt a small lump. I went to my doctor and they kind of brushed me off. And then they come back and they're at stage 4. Now, we don't know. There's no way of determining whether or not they were at stage 4. They went there the first time. But at least there was a way for them to be able to advocate for themselves. And I think we do it with preachers, we do it with doctors, anybody that has had some type of formal training. We feel like, we put all of our stock in them. And bottom line is, um, the only person you need to put stock in is yourself. And if that particular doctor does not listen, then you need to find another doctor. I am I was just truly blessed that my doctors, that was my team. I didn't need a second opinion, but I also was a person that never felt and still have never ever felt my lump. Never felt it. I saw it on the screen. But and that's why I say to go hand in hand. You can have your monthly exam, which is women find their lumps and stuff of that nature. Sometimes it's dense breast, sometimes it's a lump, but it could be any of those scenarios. But I think what happens is that we get in our minds, and of course we do the worst case scenario. Cancer is not a death sentence. I'm here. See, it's not a death sentence, but you have to get ahead of it as quickly as you possibly can. I almost did not go to my mammogram that particular year because we were still in the depths of, C19. So I didn't almost didn't go. And I would go every year from the time I was started at 40 getting my mammograms after my mom scared me to death. And and let's be honest, it might stretch a little bit, but I was a triple D and kept it moving. So it doesn't hurt. It's uncomfortable, but you have to be able to do what you need to do. A little bit of discomfort for a little bit of time can save your life. And so if you know for sure that you feel uncomfortable, you do not feel heard. And we know that when you go to the doctor, they slot you in for 15 minutes, and 10 minutes they're looking, at the computer. So they talk to you all of 5 minutes. Make those 5 minutes count. And like I said, walk away. It's okay. It's like a bad relationship. It didn't work. Let's move on.
That's some powerful words. I know that there's a lot of stories around women advocacy and being the advocate for yourself. I always and I've heard so many stories about malpractice and all kinds of weird things. But I do want to just emphasize this too because you talked about having a safe space to really be able to have that awareness for advocacy, right? Some people just don't know what they don't know. And I remember even my own mother saying, you gotta advocate for yourself and showing me how to do that. You created a group for women that can actually understand the journey, kind of follow the journey along with you and learn how to advocate for themselves. What would you say to someone? Because I know you have an open invitation for people to join that private space, but who is that space for? Let's give them an opportunity to really get into a place where they can really grow.
Yeah, the space was created because a lot of times you get in, Facebook groups and different things of that nature that have 30,000 people. There's no way that they can be able to answer. And so I was looking for something a little bit more intimate. I know that a lot of times you just want to be heard, you just want to be seen, you just want to know that somebody understands who you are and what you're going through. And so when I created Beyond the Boobs Sister Circle, I was doing it for the person that may have just found out they had cancer, or they're in the middle of their cancer, or now finding out that they have long-term effects to the chemotherapy or the immunotherapy or the radiation. And so it's just a group of women just coming together and sharing their stories. Try to keep as many resources in there, um, so that you have that information. I always put a reminder to, do your breast exams every month. So therefore, people get busy. So if nothing else, if you pop in the group and you say, "Oh, today's the first," I can go ahead and do my breast exams. But it's for people that had lumpectomies, people that had double mastectomies, single mastectomies, went flat, decided to get reconstruction. There's so many different things. And one of the things that I had to realize was that I'm sure my doctor, is so much information being thrown at you, but I'm sure they talked about going flat, but you took my boobies away. I want me a new pair, right? And it's not going to be like reconstruction, but I want me a new pair. But after going through so much, and people don't talk about the mental aspects of it, but I was diagnosed with PTSD. And so I would normally think of PTSD as dealing with the military, is what I've always associated it with. And so when they said that to me, it almost sounded like it was a foreign language they were speaking to me, but it's a true factor. And so if you have any kind of trauma in your life, it can be categorized as that. But I I wanted to be safe to come and not have to explain what breast cancer is, not have to explain what they're feeling or anything else unless they want to. Because if I talk to somebody that I have to give the back, the backstory of it. Oh, how did you get it? Da, 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 da. And I just need somebody that already knows the backstory, and I just need to be able, the little bit of hair you got left, I want to be able to let it down and and release whatever I'm trying to have the conversation about, and know that they will have a understanding. Now, what I do want to say, the caveat to that, if we love all of our friends and family that try to support us if they have not gone through breast cancer, we don't want anybody, and I can honestly say that. I can't think of one person I would be like, "Oh, you know what? I don't like you. I want you to have breast." No, it's not going to happen. Um, and I don't want you to understand, right? I don't want you to understand, because if you understand, that means that you have breast cancer. But for those folks that do have it, it's able to have somebody that has a clear understanding of what you're going through.
It's really powerful stuff. I appreciate all of it because there are women that I know are in different phases, and maybe they do need to hear, to advocate for themselves, to find a safe space where they can find what that even means. Like, ask the question, like, what do I need? What questions do I need to ask my doctor, or even share their own stories, right? Like, go to what's the group called, Pam? Beyond the Boob. Yeah.
Well, I have a guide. Yeah, I have a guide. It's called I just got diagnosed, now what? So,
Okay.
it has different elements, different questions that you can do to be able to prepare yourself. for your first visit. I tell everybody, I don't care. I asked the first time and then I didn't ask anymore because they're a little bit hesitant. But I turn my phone off knocked on the door and just recorded it because there's no way that you're going to be able to remember all of this stuff because this is new terminology that you're having to learn like with the quickness, and they're throwing it in on you and they're still only giving you a 15-minute window, right? And you're supposed to get all of this. And I'll never forget they put me through what they called chemo university with a binder this big. So yeah, so I help you navigate that. Yeah, I help you navigate that. I also have another guide that get ready to roll is a things that you might be going through as you're going through chemo. And so I just want people to have the tools that they can be able to navigate through this because it is hard. It's probably one, I mean, I had twins and it beat the labor pain off this thing, honey. So it will put you in a position of thinking, what in the world what is going on here? But I never thought I was gonna die. It just never crossed my mind. I was in fight mode. And I was in fight mode and was gonna laugh during the whole situation. So that was my whole thing. And I decided, from the beginning, we're gonna tackle this, we're gonna conquer this, and we're gonna get through this one way or the other. And I'm gonna do it in a way that I enjoy, and not being Debbie Downer the entire time. Now, that's not to say that I didn't have down days because I did. Um, but I made a promise to myself, if you have a down day, you can have that one. You just can't stay there. That was my commitment to myself. You just cannot stay there. You have to fight through, and I made myself, I joke on exactly what I ended up doing.
This is amazing. First of all, thank you again for just gracing the stage with all of your amazing expertise in what you've experienced. I think sometimes we have to realize that our experiences make us incredibly good at what we do and teach. I love the fact that you are really passionate about what you do. And for those of you who are listening to the live stream, right, because we're going to play this on our Win 411 channel. Actually, the resource channel is going to have, hopefully, if Pam agrees, we'll have her resources locked in there, so you guys can go ahead and grab those two downloads. And this is one of the things that I love, because now we're talking about solution based opportunities where you've been through it, Pam, and you've seen it. You've created a community for women who can now express themselves freely and then grow through that process, whether they've been through it before or not. I think that that's important more than anything, because you can't avoid challenges and trials in life. You're going to have things happen. And the biggest thing that stands out for me before we do our final words for you guys and give you direction of how to really support Pam and how to support just being community and just getting that awareness, is that there's what's the saying, it kind of like came up for me, where, let me try to pull it out. I kind of lost it, man. It was just right there at the tip of my tongue. And I think mainly it just came from the fact that when you go through something, I hate that because, it's like you have the saying, but then you can't remember the exact words anymore. It comes from the fact that when you, oh, there it is. Okay. They say, why me? And then the answer is, why not me? Right? Because it's going to happen to someone. And being the person that it happens for and not to is really one of those amazing things because it actually can fuel your passion even more because you understand. And that's everything that I got from you tonight. So thank you again, Pam. I will be sharing a lot of what you do in your community and our win spaces so that people can get to know more about you. But before we leave, I would love to hear any final words, takeaways, and also let people know how you would like them to connect with you.
What I would leave everybody with is just take care of yourself. You have to go back to the whole airplane thing. You have to put the mask on yourself before you can really be able to save anybody else. And so you can do it for your family, you can do it for your friend, you can do it for everybody, but you have to be in the forefront of that equation. So therefore you are advocate for yourself. Do not be scared. It's not okay for somebody to disregard your feelings or your thoughts about your body. You know your body, because if I'm telling you there's a lump, then at some point I knew there wasn't a lump. So I have to know my body. And so to make sure that they take those things into consideration. It's fine to go and find another doctor, ask somebody else if they have a good doctor, so that they can be able to help you navigate through this. Don't wait. Make sure that you're doing your monthly breast exams. Make sure that you're getting your mammograms at 40. And if you have a history, younger than that. I think a lot of times, like even my girls, I had breast cancer. So my girls will have to go earlier, right, than normal at this point. And so um also, you still have to keep in mind that the people that love you, they are struggling too. I just did a blog not too long ago, um, and interviewed my daughters about how their relationship with this whole thing was. And I had no earthly idea that they were struggling the way that they did. My youngest twin was self-medicating. And I had no idea because I was in the midst of my trenches, and she was scared that her mom was going to die. And so I'm just thinking, hey, you hadn't come to see your mom, but want she didn't want to see me. She didn't want to see me because she was so scared that she was going to lose me. And so we had to talk through that. They had to go through therapy. And we're very, very big on therapy over here. So at that particular time, I think, well, my deductible and my my deductible and out of pocket was met with all of the scans and all of that other stuff. So I was going to therapy once a week at that point because they were paying for it at 100%. So it worked out for me at that particular time that I was able to get that extra support. But you have to you it's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to stop fighting. You have to keep fighting. When you have and these, I promise you, these doctors, you'll be like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, let's get a scan. And it never stops. I am still paying for cancer bills almost 3 years later. And, if it made me whole, as whole as I am right now, because I haven't gone back. It's my new normal, but yeah, then that's what we'll have to do. Right now, my teeth fell out because the chemo loosened up my crowns. My toenails fell off. I was just telling you right before we started, uh it was a calcium buildup They had to remove my entire toenail. I've got to go back. They didn't want to do both at the same time, so I got to go back and get the other one done. A lot of my friends that we were and stuff like that.
Okay. Can you hear me, Pam? Um, I hope you can hear me back again. I heard most of what you said at the end. But now, guys, we are pretty much at the end of the live stream. We got to know so much about Miss Pam Fields and also all of the things that she has contributed to the world of bringing awareness to breast cancer, bringing awareness to health itself in the world of especially like women, moms, right? Because we are the caregivers. But I also love the fact that you're able to really be very transparent and honest and funny about
Uh-oh.
your journey.
Yeah, so we're all social media friends, and now we're finding out that a lot of us have long-term effects on some of these things. And so theirs are a lot worse than mine. They've got adrenal gland problems, they've got thyroid problems and P and nature. I still have some what they it is what it is. We do what we need to do to get through, and show yourself some grace and some mercy if you're in the midst of this struggle. If you're on your journey, show yourself some grace and mercy, and allow people to help, because that was my surrender. It's very hard for me because I'm the person hard. Yeah.
Okay, I heard like in and out. Okay, guys, listen. It could be just me, but we're going to now end this live stream because Pam, you have said so much. You have given us so much value. Guys, we are now able to walk into the rest of this month with more intention. We're going to continue to share the live so that you can get to know more about Pam and her
Oh,
story. Um, Pam, did you hear me? Did I cut out?
I heard the end part. Yeah. No, yeah, that we were to the end. Yeah.
Okay, okay, good, good, good. I'm just making sure because I know I'm cutting out a little bit. And just making sure that you guys also listen. Make sure that you join us in our efforts, especially under the Healthy Horizons campaign, because I will be talking more to individuals like Pam and their stories. And as we've already had it in our initiatives, we want to bring more value into the community. What we've already built on. We have stories. We have individuals who have gone through things. We have connections with healthcare providers and organizations that really give support to these areas. And so next year, I'm looking to do amazing things where, Pam, when you're talking about, hey, get that checkup, we can really hold each other accountable to that in community. And this is something that I believe is so important for us to do because it's easy to tell someone what to do, right? Like it's easy to say, oh, yeah, just go do it. But just like you said earlier, right? It's harder to do. It's harder to just take action, especially if you've Okay, I'm sorry, guys. My phone cut out because I had a phone call come through, and I thought I put it on do not disturb, but technology. But let's hurry up and wrap it up because I don't want anybody calling me and getting on the last one. Pam, I just was saying that this is phenomenal. We're going to continue to build on it. Hopefully, we can keep each other accountable next year more in an intentional way. But thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you guys on the next live. Have an
All
amazing
right.
night.
Good night.